Good morning and welcome back to Cold Waters. I'm Captain Numpty, or David Steele, and here's me boat. In fact, I appear to be close to breaching right now. We are in HMS Sceptre, a name that is sure to trigger some people. And let's go ahead and switch to the map view here. Let's see, right. Okay, here we go. We are just to the east of the United Kingdom mainland, and this is the North Sea. Now, I don't recall the North Sea ever looking anywhere near as beautifully blue and clear as this, but there we go. Today's mission. This is part one in what'll be a little mini campaign or a mini series. Our mission today is essentially to defend the United Kingdom mainland from a suspected insurgent or injection, you might say, of Russian Spetsnaz torpedoes. The year is 2004. And Russia has suddenly gone back to being the bad guy of the room. And our mission in a somewhat older submarine is to defend the UK. Now, Intel believes there is a diesel-electric boat somewhere out there carrying Spetsnaz, and their mission is to land those special forces on mainland and cause havoc. Separately, or rather in conjunction, we suspect that it's going to be escorted by something. Now, in all likelihood, the Russians will use a slightly older boat to carry Spetsnaz and a more modern diesel electric as the escort. The more modern boat is going to be quieter. Here's the thing with diesel electrics. They don't have coolant pumps, and every nuclear submarine, at least in cold waters, with the exception of the USS Narwhal, needs a coolant pump. It creates a little bit of noise, a little bit of vibration, and yes, it's damped, it's silenced as best it can be, but it's still audible. The batteries in a diesel electric do not create any noise, or at least in theory they shouldn't. Perhaps they'll hum, or that might be some associated circuit with them. So if you shut the boat down, it makes no noise, subject to the crew breathing, farting, eating, or whatever it is else that they need to do. Long and short are, they can be holes in the water for a long time, and we can't be. So we're actually trundling along right now at just 5 knots. We're pointing and heading 321 because that was the last reported or an unknown contact. And I'm running at periscope depth. I'm going to go ahead and pop the sensors and to the surface, and the reason being, eventually, those diesel electric boats, they're going to need to snorkel to replace the air and possibly run some pumps, and I might get to hear them then. Plus, there might be some civilian traffic in the area who could do with not taking care of those.
Up scope.
Let's get those popped up. Do we see anything? Okay, one radar contact is probably civilian, although it is heading towards the coast. It is, it's a trawler. Okay, let's take a look because we can. Have to that. Yeah, that's a trawler. And not much to see here, really. Okay. Right. I'll pop those down. I don't need to run those on the surface the whole time. It limits my my speed to 10 knots if I don't want to damage them. When we float around towards the target area, let's look at weapons on board. So we have a total of 6 spearfish and it looks like 14 tigerfish, is that right? Yeah, 14 tigerfish. We have 8 harpoons and we've got 2 sea lance. Now, sea lance is an interesting weapon. It's fictional, at least the production version. It was produced, there's a prototype I believe in very small numbers. It was never put into service. And I'm supposing that the Royal Navy managed to acquire some. On a technicality, UUM-125A is the nuclear tipped version. We're not carrying nukes on board, we're carrying the conventional ones. They drop a Mark 50 torpedo in the vicinity of the enemy. And as I play through these scenarios, they will be in very limited numbers, as will spearfish. We'll have a few more spearfish to play around with, but not many. In the real world, spearfish was fully in service by 2004, I believe. Because 2002 was the final switchover. But in this particular scenario, I'm supposing that actually budget cuts, surprise, means that we don't have a full complement of spearfish. And that is a shame because for an engagement like this, or a likely engagement like this, you're really going to want to get my spearfish, my torpedoes to the enemy as quickly as I can. And the reason being is I need to assume that the enemy's torpedoes are at least as capable as mine. In the case of tigerfish, that's not the hardest thing to imagine. But that means that they're wire-guided. And when they're wire-guided, they're kind of immune to countermeasures. And I don't have that much depth to play with to be able to juggle depth and get underneath or above the torpedo. And so getting my weapon to the target area as quickly as possible to either distract or sink or damage that enemy boat, or at least cause the wire to break, is going to be very useful. But right now, there's really not much going on, so I'm going to go ahead and hit accelerated time. We'll see if we pick something up. I'm too shallow to be able to use my towed array, and that's a real shame, so I might end up just picking actively. Yeah, how far away is this trawler?
Raise the radar mast.
Oh, he's 24,000 yards, okay.
Lower the radar mast.
Let's point a little more towards the trawler. Let's go to heading 300.
300. Helm aye.
This could be a kind
Con, helm, steady course.
This could be a bit of a boring scenario if not much happens, so I'm going to provoke the enemy just a little bit. I'm going to run to 15 knots. Now that's going to cause me to cavitate at periscope depth. Nice thing about the propulsion method of the British submarines, the Royal Navy submarines, is you can run to 10 knots, which I'm going to do now. And it won't.
Turns for 10 knots. Maneuvering on.
Cavitate at 45 feet, but it will at 15. So I'm going to try.
Maneuvering, making turns for 10 knots.
Okay, I'm going to try and speak up with the crew. Let's go ahead and cavitate. This is going to get the attention of anything out there. What it should do.
Turns for 1. Con sonar, we are cavitating.
It's me cavitating. So I'm making a ton of noise right now.
Maneuvering, making turns for 15 knots.
I think we might run it up to flank. The danger of running up to... Oh, okay.
Rig ship for ultra quiet.
Let's maybe not run up to flank.
Con sonar, no longer cavitating.
So why would the bad guys ping me? Well, they'd ping me because they're trying to get a range, and it looks like... actually, it's this direction here. I'm going to go ahead and get a weapon off.
Helm aye.
Shoot 2-1. Aye, sir.
We should not have anything pinging me in my...
Come right to
my sovereign waters. So I'm getting a torpedo off. I probably will want to put a spearfish in. Yeah, let's reload a spearfish. And just for the sake of it, we might get a Sea Lance loaded. I don't have many of them, but hey, you never know when it's going to be useful. Okay, not much going on right now. Let's be brave. Let's ping.
Con sonar, switching to active search.
Oh, hello. On target. Not much of a return on it right now. It's coming right at me, though. Oh, two of them. Oh, dear. Still no idea what that really is.
Con sonar, launch transient
now I
from
do.
Sierra 2.
Right, Romeo is good news. It's a fairly... I'm going to get my depth down.
Turns for 10 knots.
Let's go to 15 knots. I'm going to get a second weapon off, but we're going to fire up.
We are cavitating.
More modern weapon. Let's moderate my turn.
Shoot
Get that off. The reason why I'm moderating my turn is I don't want to cause the wire to break when it gets dropped out of the tube. Okay, so that's the spearfish on the way.
No longer cavitating.
Stop the descent. I'm turning away from the Romeo. Let's put the map on me. So the Romeo's got fairly poor quality torpedoes. They're I think the set 65s, maybe set 65M.
Con, torpedo room, tube 3 ready.
Set 65, great. Not a particularly sophisticated seekerhead on those, and what that means is that it's quite likely. Wow, let's get this torpedo closer.
Con sonar, noisemaker, bearing 310.
It's quite likely that it's just not going to be able to detect me. I need to get that torpedo active on him. Let's make this tigerfish active.
Con, fire control,
Okay.
weapon acquired.
And I'm going to, for the sake of it, I'm going to ping him actively. I think I want to get my spearfish active too.
Con sonar lost contact. Sierra 2, last bearing 3-1.
Come right to 197.
Turn too
Helm
much.
aye.
The spearfish is much faster when active. Let's ping that. Alright, nothing so far. Okay. Hey, I forgot to stop the turn.
Come right to 214.
Switch back to the
Helm
map
aye.
view. Okay. It looks like the Set 65 is not able to detect me at this range, but it's pretty
Con
close.
sonar, noisemaker bearing 310. Con sonar, torpedo in the water, bearing 358.
This is really
Con,
bad
fire
for
control.
Con sonar, switching to passive search.
really bad for a number of reasons. Reason number
Make
one,
turns 4.
Con sonar, we are cavitating.
clearly there's a torpedo on my butt. That's bad. Reason number two is I'm going to lose the wire on both the
Con, fire control. We've lost the wire.
both the spearfish and the
Con
tigerfish.
sonar, noisemaker bearing 310.
And what that means is it may turn around and attack me. That is not good news, especially the spearfish. Those things are kind of lethal, and by kind of lethal, they're lethal. So this thing, so I want to balance keeping my distance from the spearfish. Now, spearfish is 4,000 yards. I should be okay with the other
Con,
Set
knuckle formed.
65 that is northeast of me. So I'm going to turn towards the spearfish, like so. Let's cancel that turn. I'm still getting up to speed here.
Con sonar lost contact.
All right, great.
Sierra 2, last bearing 315.
Got the
Contact breaking
Romeo,
up.
so I'm going to turn back north.
Con, knuckle formed.
He's not a threat if he's sunk, right? And he may have fired another torpedo or two at me. He's got plenty of torpedo tubes. So there might be more on the way, but I don't detect them. That doesn't mean, of course, that they're not out there. Alright, that's a torpedo coming from the enemy contact.
Con, knuckle formed.
It's almost directly due west of me. We can't detect this torpedo anymore, but we did detect the launch. I do have a Sea Lance primed and ready to go.
Con sonar, noisemaker bearing 267.
I'd need to slow down to 20 knots to be able to launch that without jamming the tube.
Con, torpedo room, tube 2 ready.
Con, knuckle formed.
Right now, I think I'm doing okay. I think I can keep this Set 65 at bay. Let's switch to the torpedo to the weapon view. Right, that's number one. That's one of his torpedoes. Can I see myself? No. Let's try the other torpedo. Wow, that looks like a
Con,
spearfish
maneuvering,
going
making
on an
turns
attack
for
one.
3-2 knots.
So that's interesting.
Con, knuckle formed.
Looks like I've managed to get out of range of his torpedoes. Let's do another torpedo view. Okay, so this is one of mine. This is a spearfish. Circling around to attack something, I hope. Maybe. Try another view. And this is... looks like a Set 65, and it's now circling. I've managed to get out of range. I'm going to drop my speed to 5 knots. So hopefully I'll be able to detect a little bit more. I'll get up to periscope depth.
4, 5, 8, dive by.
Where's my spearfish gone? There it is. Oh, he's not. He's maybe attacking
Con sonar,
something, but
noisemaker bearing 257.
I think he acquired something there. I don't know what. There's the noisemaker in the background there. So there's definitely something there. It's just we don't know what it is yet. I guess we'll actively ping this for the sake of it. Although
Con, dive at 4, 5, 8, dive by. Upscope.
yeah, I can't detect anything. Oh, hello. We detected that. That's a kilo, or a kilo class of some description. Well, no, let me rephrase. That's an X kilo. Okay, wow. Well, at least the crew can get out. We've got some prisoners of war, that would appear, because it's under 300 feet. Okay, let's switch back to me. There we are. Bobbing along close to the surface. Switch back to the map view. Right, well, that was a fairly straightforward engagement then.
Downscope.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. To be fair, I couldn't detect the Kilo or Kilo 2 or whatever that was, but my spearfish could, and I knew the direction he was in. If he hadn't have pinged me, I wouldn't have known where it was. The Romeo, yeah, I got an idea of his bearing when we started out. Evading his torpedo was fairly straightforward, all things considered. Not the same with the USET 80s. Right, well, a fairly gentle introduction to defending the UK. I hope you got something from that, and I hope you have a good day. I'll hopefully catch you the next time. Thanks so much, everyone. Goodbye.